So before we get into the Algebra 2 part of solving systems of equations algebraically, we have to refresh our memory on the Algebra 1 part of it, which is substitution and elimination. And substitution basically is, I'll give a quick and easy one here. 3x plus 5y is equal to 1. And you have another equation, y is equal to 5. So since you know what y is equal to, you can substitute it in for y here. 3x plus 5 times 5 is 25 is equal to 1. And now you only have one variable left, so now you can solve for that. Subtract 25. 3x is equal to negative 24. Divide by 3. And x is equal to negative 8. Remember though, just like with solving systems by graphing, solving systems by using the algebra, your answer is still a point. X is negative 8, y is 5. Okay, let me get to the first example here. In this first example, I'm actually going to have that as 15. So it's a little bit different. There's not just something that's y equals a constant. You have to follow these steps. So the first one we're going to do is solve one of the equations for one of its variables. I gave you a hint here. Solve the variable with a coefficient of 1 or negative 1. So you have 4 variables here. You're solving for the one that has a coefficient of 1 or negative 1. So when I take this equation and I'm solving for y, I'm going to subtract 2x. And I have y is equal to negative 2x plus 10. I tell you to circle this because we're going to come back to that equation. Okay, we're going to go in step 2. Substitute the expression from step 1, that's the circled one, into the other equation and solve for the other variable. So when I plug it in here, I'm plugging it in for y. So instead of y, I'm writing negative 2x plus 10. And simplify. 3x minus 8x plus 40 is equal to 15. So when I subtract 40, I can combine these two. That's going to be negative 5x is equal to negative 25 and divide by negative 5 and x is positive 5. So now I have the x value, I'm looking for the y value. I'm going to plug it back in to this circled equation, and so I have y is equal to negative 2 times 5 plus 10. Negative 10 plus 10 is equal to 0. So y is equal to 0. So my solution is the 0.50. Okay, sorry about that last one. I had to kind of squeeze some stuff in there. Well, this one is elimination, and remember your goal is to combine. Sometimes this is called combination. You're combining the two equations, and you want to eliminate one of the variables, because once you get one variable by itself, you're able to solve for that variable. And once you have one variable, you can use it to find another variable. Okay? So in this case, I'm not going to do all the steps. I'll go over that in the next one. Step 1, arrange the equations with like terms in columns, which they are here, but I always tell you to put it x's first, then y's, then constants, and this is basically standard form. And these are all set up to cancel out. So what you're doing is you're combining these. These cancel out. This becomes 5y, this becomes 25. If I divide by 5, and I get y is equal to 5. I got one variable. I'm looking for the other one. I go back to one of these, it doesn't matter which one, and plug it in. 4 times x plus 2 times 5 equals 9. 4x plus 10 equals 9. Subtract 10. 4x is equal to negative 1. Divide by 4. And x is equal to negative 1/4. These, don't leave them separated. Put them together as a coordinate My point is negative 1/4, positive 5. I'll go a little slower with this one. So the first step is to arrange the equations with like terms in columns. And what I like to do is get the x first, then the y, then the constant. So what I did, I subtracted 3x. So I have negative 3x plus y equals positive 13. Negative x plus 4y equals 11. The equal sign should be matched up as well. Okay. Now, when I combine these, none of them cancel out. So what I'm going to have to do is either cancel the x's out or cancel the y's out. You can do either one in this case. I'm going to choose to cancel out the x's because this is a 1 or a negative 1. It makes it easy. I'm going to multiply it by 3. Now, if I multiply it by 3, that's going to be negative 3x. This is negative 3x. They're not going to cancel out unless one's positive and one's negative. So I'm going to actually multiply this by negative 3. And that's going to make positive 3x. I got to multiply it all the way through the equation. This becomes negative 12y and is equal to negative 33. Let me rewrite this equation under it. Negative 3x plus 2y is equal to 13. And now I can combine them. So these will cancel out. This becomes negative 10y is equal to, and these combine to be negative 20. When I divide by negative 10, I get y is equal to positive 2. So I'm going to use that in one of these equations. I'll pick the first one. It doesn't matter which one. Understand I'm plugging it in for the y. So 2 times 2 becomes 4 equals 3x plus 13. And then solve for x. Subtract 13. Negative 9 is equal to 3x. And divide by 3. And x is equal to negative 3. So I have the point x is negative 3, y is 2. That is the solution. Okay, so here are a couple U-try problems. Solve the first one by substitution and the second one by elimination. Remember to pick the variable with the coefficient of 1 or negative 1 in the substitution and line them up so that the variables are in columns first for elimination. Go ahead and pause it and I'll give you the answers in a little bit.
So what happened to the guy who stole your neighbor's dog? He was charged with petty theft. Oh! Get it? Petty theft? Because it was a pet?
The answer to the first one is negative 7, 4. The answer to the second one is 4, negative 2.